Hello everyone, it is Rosie. Today we are at episode 9, and since Rosie has finally settled, I'm going to go say hi to her before I start decorating on her home and my home in this episode. So with that, let's just go and say hi to her. She is so cute, and her home is really cute too. I really like the pink and blue theme, so I'm going to stick with that. And before I go, I did put down Kabuki's home here so he can have new neighbors and finally be off the beach and yeah, just like thrive in his riverside home, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I also put down some pathing just in case so I can remind myself when his home is there to put down more pathing the next day. And then here I am putting down an incline so residents can go to the farm here. And while I was doing this, I actually realized that this is the only entrance and exit to the this part of the island. So I had to use rescue service to basically exit after I donated all the bells to have it made. So yeah. And here I am working on Rosie's exterior. I end up with a thatched roof, a pink exterior, and a white door, just to keep it like a cute theme and part of her color scheme. And then I am working on the interior here. This is actually at 8 times speed, so that's why I feel like I'm being rushed right now when I'm talking. But I do try to stick with a blue and pink theme, or at least in general, like a cherry blossom theme, because her home was like really cute, and so I wanted her to have, still the pink theme, but have it a little bit toned down with the wooden flooring. I do eventually change that, but I still have wooden flooring elements in there, if that makes sense. And I wanted her to have like a living room area and also a kitchen and like a seating area or just an area for her to like sleep in. So I wanted to basically make her a studio apartment without the bathroom. Yeah, I feel like since there's like such limited space, you can't really put in a bathroom unless we can have the ability to do that. But let's just say that they have a secret bathroom. We just don't know where it is. It's their own secret, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, the whole process was me just like going through, picking out things that I thought would like look nice, sticking with like a cherry blossom theme or a pink theme. That's why I'm picking out the pink albums, or albums with pink and blue, but majority pink. And I wanted to partition off her room, but then it just didn't work because the room is so small. And so with the rooms being so small, it really lended to me having a lot of moments where I'm like really thinking. I was like frantically thinking of like spacing and items at the same time. So like here you can see I'm like trying to figure out the kitchen. I wanted her to keep her DIY work station, but it just didn't work out. So I do end up putting in the kitchenette, or that modular kitchen, or the single kitchen, I guess, and then moving the shelving over there to like partition off and basically have her own bedroom next to the kitchen. And I think that actually looks really nice. I especially like the comfy bed, or the pattern for that bed. I feel like I don't use it a lot, so I'm putting that in, and then more pink and blue elements, so, and also some white, so I put in that. And then I do change the wallpaper because even though I do like the blue, I feel like it kind of washed everything out and didn't really make it seem like warm, or maybe it's because of specific lighting, but I just didn't like the blue, so I changed it to the tea room, and then I changed the flooring to the tatami, and then I put in wood decks to just kind of separate the room, make it seem like a platform-ish, and I added in a just books and moved the albums to one side, so basically she can read and she can enjoy like her life in her studio. And I just really like this build. I feel like I put a lot of time into it, especially since I did like 30 minutes. or 35 minutes, I think, because this is 8 times sped up, so I forget how long I worked on this for. But yeah, this is the studio apartment for Rosie. I wanted to include like the tatami to have like some traditional Japanese town stuff in there, and then also just wooden decks and stuff. I don't know. I hope she enjoys this. I mean, I don't know if she will, but I like it so far, so yeah. And here I am working on the area, like I said, I think last time, about my tea house. So like my house will become the place for people to come to after they tour the farm with Dobie. They come to my home, or like the, I guess, headquarters or the main house of the tea farm, which is technically my house, where they can go into the basement and learn about the history of the tea farm, the town, learn how to brew the tea properly, especially when it's like different types of tea that we have. Like we have some teas that are aged, or they're just dried, or the difference between fresh tea leaves and dried tea leaves. Like basically it's like the campsite with the lectures and stuff. Like that is talking about, you know, your soil pH, what it should be, what compost items you can use to create compost, I guess, or something like that. And here, my house would just be like the place for people to learn about tea, if that makes sense. I don't really make a lot of changes to my house, which you will see later on. I'll talk about that more. But here, the exterior, I want basically the whole area to be very regal, I guess. Not regal, but like filled with stone. And at first I wanted it to be dirt so I could have some like, what is it, farm town-ish kind of stuff. But then I was like, wait, no, that's kind of rural or natural, and I want it to be a modern kind of town. So this is more like of a enclosed space, so that's why I would have the stone pathing. And initially I wanted the home to be on the edge of the cliff instead of next to the river, but then I was like, wait, if I want more dynamic road mapping, I should at least do a little bit of that here instead of having the road be basically aligned with the river's edge, just like what it is on the other side. So I just wanted to mix and match it up. Plus, if I take photos from Kabuki's home or my home, I could at least show that there's homes on both sides of the river and just have some more, again, dynamic pictures. And so here I'm working on having like a side path next to my home and just incorporating a lot more of this pathing. Oh, and I would also like to say thank you so much for over 400 subscribers. It's actually kind of insane to me, just seeing that people are subscribing to me, and I'm really appreciative of that. Again, I really am thankful that there are people actually looking at my content, even though I'm just rambling and talking about nothing really important. I feel like I've said this last time when I got 300 subscribers, but I'm seriously talking about nothing, and I just want to share my builds. Like, I've been wanting to share my builds, not just through photos, but like through actual video since I got this game, even though I wasn't that good at decorating or anything. But like, I feel like I delayed getting a capture card, especially the Elgato one, for a long time, until like maybe 5 years later. And I don't know, it's mostly because like my work kind of changed and my situation changed, and I was like really into gaming and stuff for a while. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just, you know, jump over, risk the money to get the capture card, get the editing software, and the mic, just to, you know, go for it. So I'm really appreciative of people actually watching my videos. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too long of a little tangent, but here I'm figuring out what side I want to put the vending machines, and I eventually stick with putting it on the side of my house as kind of like a fence, if you will, and then putting the bench here so I can just take some like really cool pictures. I may change it up later in the future, but again, I'm not sure. I may just keep it like this. I actually kind of do like how I ended up like having it. So here I'm putting down pathing to just figure out where I want the road. I do eventually get rid of the little canal there that I have. I wanted to do something with that at first initially, but I ended up just like getting rid of that. I don't know what I was thinking. But here I am putting down more trees because, again, if I don't have trees, at least one tree over at least one corner, I don't feel comfortable. I don't know. Maybe it's because like I grew up on a street with a lot of like not a lot of trees actually, now that I think about it, and then moved to a street with, again, no trees at all, while the other streets do. I feel like I apply what I see in real life to Animal Crossing, and I'm like, yeah, just add trees wherever you want. And I think I had a rating before, like on a previous island, where Isabel said, the residents are complaining that there's too many trees. And I'm like, what? How can there be too many trees? So, yeah, I don't know. And I also want to get rid of the trees in my pockets because those are taking up a lot of space. Well, not too much space, but I feel like when I had more, I just need more space in my pockets. And I wanted to make this like a whole path to lead to the house, but then I eventually changed my mind, just because I'm like, actually, I don't want it to be empty space and just a road. So I eventually do incorporate some stuff in there, but it's just like, it's gonna come up like a little bit later. And you can tell that I am really, really working on my island because the hours just keep going by, and it eventually gets dark when I like finish the build in Animal Crossing. And yeah, I feel like even if I work on stuff in like the early afternoon, if I'm working in the way afternoon, like after dinner, like 5:30 p.m., I eventually do work until maybe like 7 if I'm really, really into the build. And I don't know, for me it's kind of like, if I'm working on something like really, really late-ish or later than I want to, then it means that it's probably going to be like a pretty okay build for myself. And so here I get rid of the canal, but then I put up the cliffs again. I thought I wanted to have an empty area, but then I do eventually put it back. And I thought about pushing the home at least one space, but then I forgot that there was an incline, so I changed my mind and kept it in the original spot. And here I'm just like walking around figuring out what I want to do. I put down some fence, and usually I don't put down pathing and then fence, but I think for this part I had to, because there was just like no other way for me to really be satisfied with the fact that the fence and the pathing are not on top of, like, the fence is not on top of the pathing and it won't look nice. So that's why I'm like putting it here and just editing a lot. So this whole process like took me a while, and this is part of the recording where I have to re-record because there's just some details that I talk about and I don't think when I speak sometimes, so I'm re-recording. But yeah, this took me a while. I did not know what to do with this empty area, but I eventually figured it out, so you'll see in the video. But basically, I am talking ahead. I'm just adding storefronts and making a fake building again just to surround it so it doesn't feel too empty, and I didn't want to put flowers on the edge of the first tier of the island, so I'm just gathering those materials right now. But in general, yeah, I've just been catching up on YouTube, watching just like drama videos on my other account where I've had YouTube since like 2012 basically. So yeah, just like watching those videos, watching some educational videos, and I don't really spend much time on this account, although I do sometimes, especially when I'm supporting my other mutuals on here. Although, can I really call them mutuals? But I mean, I guess, yeah, even though we don't interact much, and my only social media is YouTube, so there's that. I do see a lot of like, I also have like Animal Crossing live streams playing in the background sometimes, like when I'm editing, or if I just need to draw and I just need like background noise and I don't need music. So there's that, but some of them are mostly in Japanese, even though I don't understand as much. And no, I have not made any progress since the last video of learning Japanese again, because I am just feeling overwhelmed, and I also want to draw again. So like I want to consistently draw, and I know that there's so much time in the day for me to actually do these things, but with doing everything else, it's kind of like getting in the way. So I don't know if I'll ever pick up language learning again. It's something that I really like doing, but I feel like if I'm being pulled in like so many directions and being told, oh, you should do X, Y, and Z for learning a specific language, then I'm gonna be like, then what's the point? So I just have to like take a break. But yeah, here I am figuring out what to do with the front courtyard, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna settle on courtyard for the tea house. So I just go through this process of putting down pathing, putting down fences, because it was just a lot of, I just wanted to cover the ground basically, instead of keeping some parts empty. I don't know. I feel like for perspective, it just makes sense to have the pathing underneath the fencing. So like when you're taking pictures, it will look like it's seamless and not abruptly cut off. So there's that. And I also try to incorporate more trees and stuff. I'm leaving this area, like pathing next to my home, as like kind of empty. I might add some things later in the future, but I will probably touch upon that in the final tour. But I'm not even close to being finished with this build, like this whole island, so that won't be until maybe a couple episodes later. So there's that. And yeah, it's getting dark in the game, so you can tell I've been like building for a while, and I guess inspiration really struck after dinner. So I guess what they say about food being fuel also lends itself to this situation as well, I guess. I don't know. But I wanted to also incorporate the green mums here, because I really do like the green mums on my island, and in general, like they're really, really pretty, and I just wanted them by my house. But eventually I do think I get rid of that so I can put in a bench. And I'm here just gathering materials. But in general, I have been still watching Law and Order SVU, but I looked back and apparently I actually started on season 13 or 14 when Rollins and Amaro joined the crew. So actually I have been watching for a while. So I got it wrong. I did not start on season 16. I started like season 12 or 13, or no, wait, 13 or 14. I keep forgetting, but I have watched since then, and right now I'm nearing the end of season 14, just rewatching a lot of stuff, and a lot of it has like come back to me, and I'm like, okay, wow, my memory really does retain itself if I just like rewatch it again and I remember things, and it's fun. I am still waiting for episodes of 911 to just basically pile up a little bit more, and then I also want to watch a couple more movies in my free time, because there's some that are like, that came out a few years ago that I kind of want to rewatch again, that just came on my streaming services. So I've been planning to, but then I get distracted by my desire to draw at night, so I just, instead of relaxing and watching a movie, I decide to watch a movie, like decide to draw. not watch a movie. I don't know where it's going with that. But here I'm finishing up with the rest of the build for the courtyard. So yeah, it should be finished in like a couple seconds, I think. And it's the next day. I time traveled, and this is Rosie's home exterior. Hopefully she enjoys the interior that I did for her. So yeah, I'm like pretty happy with it. Like her house actually really fits in with the area and it looks really nice. And then I'm going to take a little bit of walk around. So the incline to the temple is finished and it honestly looks really great. And I really like how I did the temple. And I'm going to keep going and fill up this neighborhood with 2 more houses. Probably Audie and Shino. So yeah. And then Marshall's home is done. And Dobie's outside. And wait. Oh my gosh. Okay, everyone shut up, shush, shush, shush. Marshall's playing his song. Okay, I'm getting rid of the radio because it's so loud. Okay, Marshall just gave us a solo and the radio was playing like most of the time, but okay, whatever. Yeah, so then I move my home and yeah, I travel to the next day. So yeah, finally get to move my home into the new spot and it looks pretty good. And I also forgot that I had to actually decorate the exterior before moving my home, so I had to ask him twice, why can I not customize my home? But then I realized, and I was like, okay, I'm an idiot. So, yeah, there's that. And here's the musical stylings of Rosie. Okay, I time traveled. No, I did not time travel. Why do I feel like I time travel all the time? But I'm back and I'm putting in the incline for just basically to get to my house. And then now I've time traveled to the next day and I'm going to decorate my home. It's like pretty basic. Like I go through a couple, not iterations, but like a couple of roofs where I'm debating like, should I do this? Should I do that? So it's also because like I wanted to keep it modern Japanese farm town, but also my tea house is not really that modern. It's more like a touch of being in modern era, but also having traditional like origins, I guess. So I do debate about the roof and the style a little bit. I did try to record this while speaking in my OBS, but I had crackly audio, so I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll try. But I mean, I'm fine with voiceovers. But here, I basically debate with myself about the roofs a couple times, but I end up just having the thatched roof. And then I also moved Raymond's house. So he is next to Punchy and he's neighbors with Punchy again. And yeah, I don't know. I like their combination. They're very cute together. And then I went back to my house to work on the interior, but I'm not really going to change anything about this lounge. I think I'm just going to keep it as is. Bathroom stays the same. The manager room, break room is going to be the same. Kitchen will probably be the same. Upstairs will be the same. But the only thing is I have to get rid of the indoor onsen, which I'm very sad about. But I have to do that so I can basically have a tea learning class. But yeah, this onsen will be forever missed. But I don't know. I have like, you know, a digital tour and a dream address, so you all can go see it, and I'll probably visit the dream address on my new Switch as well. I mean, my new island, not my new Switch. I'm not getting a new Switch. But for this build, it took me about, I think, almost the same time as Rosie's home, but maybe a little bit longer because I did get interrupted by family since it was Saturday, and they all went out, got haircuts, and they came back and showed me their haircuts and all the stuff they bought. But yeah, I wanted to basically try out a lot of stuff in this place. I did have to customize the counters and the pillars, so I did that for a while, but then I got that done, and I had no idea what I wanted to do for this room. Like, the spacing was, again, all in my mind again, and I just couldn't get over it. So you can see me basically playing around with a lot of stuff in here, just moving things around. But to talk about, I guess, the intention, I was like, okay, maybe I could have like a tea class. Like, this would be the classroom. People would just sit at these tables, learn about tea. And I was like, I don't want to do that for the rest of the room. But mostly because I didn't want to make more project tables and I was lazy. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can go with whatever I have and just put that here, because really it's just taking up space in my storage and my inventory. And so I wanted to at least have it be a little bit open, but to have some like partitions or something like that. I wanted to add a wall. No, I don't keep that one. Or do I? I forget. I actually built this yesterday and I already forget what I did. But I wanted to incorporate Punchy's photo as well because he's my favorite. Although a lot of the villagers are my favorites, but Punchy's is he's one of my best villagers that I've had. I think I can't part ways with him. He has to always be on my island, and he's just so cute and martial. So here I'm creating like a lounge area because I was like, okay, I can't have it be all classroom or whatever. I have to have at least a little lounge area. Maybe people can like enjoy the tea after the class here. I wanted to create like some sort of barrier, but then I was like, no, I don't really want to use a barrier, and so I think of something else eventually, I believe. Yes, I do. And so this was actually very, very fun to do, to really figure out the spacing of everything again, especially since this is the same size as my apartment upstairs. Like, it was just very fun to do, and the fact that there were no windows gave a little bit more freedom, I guess. And I wanted to incorporate the Zen seats instead of the cushions. I feel like the seats made it like a little bit better, I guess. I don't know. And then I actually didn't realize I put in 2 Schleifera, if that's how you say it, plants. So I get rid of that and I put in a speaker so I can have like some music. And I think I may change the music, but I do like that album. And I don't have a lot of rugs, so I put in the blue Persian rug, and honestly it looks pretty nice. Even though it feels out of place, it actually looks really nice. So this is the finished build. Everything was on 8 times speed, so it was like really quick. But yeah, this is the lounge part first. And of course, Punchy's photo is there. He's so cute, he's so dashing. And yeah, I think I did an okay job with this part of the lounge. I feel like the classroom part is kind of a little bit scuffed, but it's okay. It shows what I want it to be used for, which is more of like a classroom setting. So yeah, the lounge, it seems like, yeah, it's pretty comfy. Very nice. I do move the couch over by 1 spot, just for spacing purposes. I don't know. I really like it. And then, yeah, this is the classroom. You go into the lounge after you're done or something like that. Just super fun. fun times, I guess. And I put album covers on the walls, again, as decoration. I really like them as decoration, and I think those are the last remaining four that I had. And just, I'm just walking around this whole thing. I did record my voice when I was doing this, but I ended up with really bad audio. I will figure that out. It's probably something to do with my OBS settings. So yeah. What do you all think? I mean, I I like it. I don't think I'm gonna change anything really like big. Oh, and also here there is a certificate on the wall, so I was thinking maybe like people could become certified in tea making or something like that, like brewing tea or learning about tea leaves. Just getting a certificate, like you take courses here, you stay in the village and stuff, I guess. I don't know. But oh, and also there's like autograph cards on the walls. So I think like one cool lore or like some tidbit is that celebrities or like famous people come here all the time to learn about our tea or the history of the town and everything. So just they just sign and we put them on display. It'd be like, oh, we're like very popular. So yeah, this is the tea class slash lounge. I surprisingly got a lot of stuff done in this episode. So, yeah, it's like Rosie's home, exterior, interior, moving houses, adding inclines, working on my house, moving it. So, it was a lot of stuff that was actually done for episode 9. So, there we go. And if you've watched until the end, listened till the end, I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!